Good evening and welcome to the Pittsford Board of Education meeting. If you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from May 24th.
So moved.
Second. Are there any edits from that agenda? No? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. And an approval of the minutes from June 7th, please.
Yes, indeed. Motion.
Second. Any questions on that agenda? No? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Board of Education reports are looking a little bit light this time of year, which is super, getting prepared for the summer. And other meeting reports, none. Dates to remember, we have an exciting day coming up on Friday, which is our Mendon High School graduation at 4 p.m. in the stadium at Mendon High School, and followed by Sutherland High School graduation at 7:30 p.m. in the Sutherland Stadium. Looking forward to that. It looks like a wonderful weather forecast, so we're lucky. The 12th of July, why are you knocking? It looks fine. I know, but it looks fine.
Stop saying that.
Okay, summer workshop is the 12th of July from 8 a.m. to 3:30. Is that at Mendon?
Mendon Country Club.
Okay. Mendon Country Club, and the 12th is the regularly scheduled reorganization and regular meeting at 5 p.m. The 13th of July is the remainder of the summer workshop from 8 until 12. Okay, approval of the superintendent's contract. May I have a motion, please?
Yes, I'll make the motion.
And I will gladly second that. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Financial report, Darren.
Thank you. We have the Treasurer's Report from May. We did receive $1.7 million from Monroe County sales tax. That's up about $200,000 for the same period last year. We'll look at it closely over the coming months to see if that trends down at all or any impact from the not collecting the taxes on the fuel, for example. We also did receive for the health and welfare services that we built to other schools. All but one school is paid at this time. Moving on to the school lunch fund, it was a good month for the program. It had 2 more serving days than the year before, and due to the fact that we're not in the hybrid model, we actually finished the month with a little bit of a surplus.
Great. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Next is what I call the fund balance and reserve management letter. The state law requires us to estimate what we think our surplus will be for the end of the year, and then it gives the board the ability to have what we call up to amounts. So that's why when you add all of that up, it doesn't come exactly to what we're projecting. It's to give you the flexibility that once the audit is completed at the end of the summer and the auditor helps make recommendations on where to put funds into the reserves, you have that flexibility to do so.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, we have a few transportation contracts with a private carrier for students with special needs.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Same type of thing, extension of a contract for transportation with Monroe No. 1 BOCES.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Lastly is the foundation aid plan. We are required to provide a plan to the voters and have it on our website. It's not required to be submitted to the state. And the reason we're doing this is because we are one of the few districts that received more than 10% increase in foundation aid. When we did this exercise, we had a conversation about foundation aid is for your basic operating expenses, so how can you really say how you're going to spend that increase in aid, because it's there for virtually everything. So that's why the things that we listed add up to more than what the increase in aid was, because it could basically take your pick. So we grabbed some large items, in particular utilities, for example, and fuel for the buses due to the economy.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, Darren.
Yep.
Human Resource Report, Sean.
Good evening. First, for your consideration, we have the professional staff report. We have 1 certificated staff part-time to probationary appointment, 5 certificated staff appointments, 1 regular substitute to probationary appointment, 1 auxiliary staff appointment, 3 SRP resignations, and 1 administrator resignation.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And second. Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Next for your consideration is the support staff report. We have 1 clerical appointment, 1 clerical resignation, 1 transportation appointment, 1 transportation termination, and 2 custodial appointments.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And second. Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. And finally, for your consideration, we would like to create a new position with the title Tutoring Center Coordinator. This is a 10-month position, and it will be for certificated staff member. The job description is in the board packet.
That's a great addition. May I have a motion?
Yes, so moved.
Second. Questions?
If I could,
Yeah.
You go ahead first.
Yeah.
You're probably going to answer.
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
if I could just add, we'll do a separate presentation as we talk about the federal funds later this summer around the cost offset for sustainability with that position relative to the amount of money we've spent on tutoring both internally and through BOCES services.
Renee, did you still have a question?
I'm just going to wait for the presentation because I'm sure all my questions will be answered. So, yeah, I'm good right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Anybody else? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Student Services Report, Shayna.
Hi, good evening. We have for you tonight the Summer Enrichment Institute budget for your consideration.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Questions, comments? So I have to admit that I thought SEI was the, was the proposal. That wasn't. It wasn't. So I'm glad that you, yeah. Okay. We have lots of SEIs, lots of acronyms. Okay, thanks, Shayna. And Special Education Report, Elizabeth.
Good evening. All of the committee recommendations are on the consent agenda.
Thank you. Superintendent's Report, Mike.
Good evening. There is not a need for an executive session this evening. On the consent agenda, you will see policy approval for comprehensive student attendance. Also on the consent agenda, you will see a gift to the district from Scott Parker, who is retiring as a music teacher and donating a couple $1,000s of several pieces of music that he purchased throughout his career. Also, for a first reading for your consideration, if there's any questions, policy on information, security breach, and notification of that. Pretty comprehensive. Thank you, Jeff, for your work with that. Last, I do have just a few words to share. As we know, it's Pete and Amy's last official meeting. So on behalf of the Pittsford Central School District, I want to thank you both for 21 years of combined service, which includes several years as being president and several years as being vice president of the Board of Education. You both have families, which consist of a total combined 7 children and 2 spouses. You both have volunteered making Pittsford a priority, managing your families, managing your jobs and your personal life. And I have a sense that really, no matter how much we try to explain, it's difficult for people that aren't here to understand how much work it is to be on the Board of Education. So to give some people a little snapshot, again, your volunteers that have committed to touring our schools monthly, which means meeting at 7 a.m., and not only our schools, but transportation, food service, maintenance, our central office as well, attending multiple board retreats annually, giving up multiple summer days for workshops and professional development, attending several town, village, and school functions, advocating for our district through additional advocacy meetings that we've set up through our district, trips to Albany, meeting with legislators, inviting legislators to tour our buildings, inviting New York State Board of Regents members to tour our buildings and setting all of that up, visiting all of our buildings during the first week of school, serving on negotiation committees, attending Monroe County School Board meetings that take place both in the afternoon and in the evening, attending Friday morning agenda meetings, reviewing board packets, always asking challenging questions, creating policy, meeting with stakeholders, providing guidance on capital projects and budgets, and of course, attending and facilitating our monthly meetings, and so much more. Those are the things that came off the top of my head, but as I think about a typical week, we've taken you away from your family, which many people are here tonight, and your commitment has been astounding. And we want to thank everyone for giving us your parents for a while. I also want to be very frank in that you've been put in very difficult positions. You've been put in unfair positions over the years, and you continue to run for re-election. Many of these divisive positions were driven by New York State Department of Education or the Health Department or other governing agencies. And some are driven by social issues that were not present a few years ago. And you responded by following governing agencies' regulations, giving your oath of office, and you've proceeded and processed through social issues in a way that you felt would help all students in the best way. At the same time, you've experienced behaviors from others that range from you're too liberal to you're too conservative, and sometimes you've received personal attacks, but you still continued for over 20 cumulative years. You've been put in positions that have been impossible. You've led with a core true north of doing what's best for students, always operating with integrity, being collaborative, building relationships, and learning along the way as much as you can. So I really have asked myself, and I'm sure Dave and Mary Beth have, your kids probably have, why would you even volunteer for this position? Why would you volunteer for this position and then decide to stay for as long as you have? Personally, I stopped asking myself why you continued after truly getting to know the Amy and the Pete that the community does not have the opportunity to see. I think sometimes the community just has a position in their mind. They don't want to delve into it, and they dig their heels in, and they don't look at you as people. They don't see what's inside your hearts. So the Amy and Pete that I know are parents, their spouses, they're employed, and they continue because they believe in the power behind public education. They see firsthand how hard our staff, our teachers, and our administrators work, and how these efforts translate into supporting students in so many different ways. They know how complicated yet important parenting is, and they've been accessible to all parents, noting this may help their children. They have seen how when PTSA is at its best, that through collaboration and problem solving, we can better support students. They understand the power behind working with the town and the village and how this partnership yields tremendous value. They believe in dialogue and have extended themselves to meet with anyone individually. Which is unique. So no matter what's on social media, no matter what people are saying, they will reply with, let's meet. It's kind of a lost art of trying to work through issues, through dialogue, and trying to find common ground. Eye contact, shaking hands, treating people with respect. They believe in goal setting and holding everyone accountable. They believe that nothing is more important overall than our students and our students' overall well-being. The two of you have led with a level of integrity that all of us should aspire to. You do not gossip on social media. Rather, you offer yourselves as volunteers to meet with constituents and have open and respectful dialogue. You have never discounted a person's opinion, and you've always believed in giving people the benefit of good intentions. In a time when divisiveness seems to be commonplace, you have sacrificed time with your family to try to bring people together. You have always taken the high road by keeping information confidential and never publicly calling out individuals, especially when they have wrong information or have been inappropriate in behavior, and truly especially calling out anyone if there's going to be ramifications to students in school. I couldn't be more thankful of your years of service as you've put every ounce of energy and your heart in your respective roles. You indeed have made the lives of children better. You've made our community better. You are leaders that all should try to emulate, and for that I thank you more than you can imagine and wish you both the best of luck with your newfound time. I truly hope that you're able to make up some lost years with your adult children now, as well as with your spouses, Dave and Mary Beth. So I thank you again for all you do. Thank you both. And that will end the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mike. Very much appreciated. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Old business?
Are we old or new?
I know, that's the, you can go old or new. Would you like to go old?
Old school.
How about you go old and I'll go new? Okay.
I don't often get a chance to share my thoughts, so I'm going to let you have it tonight. Before I do, a few thank yous. First, last, and always, I'd like to thank Mary Beth for being here tonight for my final regular board meeting. Mary Beth is the reason I've been able to serve in this role for the past 12 years. She sacrificed so much so that I could continue doing what I love to do. So thank you, honey. Our children, Ryan, Matthew, and Emily, have inspired me to do my best to bring to other students the same incredible experience that they've enjoyed. And I thank them for that inspiration. A most sincere thanks to our amazing educators and building administrators, our bus drivers and food service personnel, coaches, counselors, custodians, nurses, security personnel, all other staff, too numerous to mention, often behind the scenes, never overlooked. I guarantee you that. You've kept our district moving forward these past few tumultuous years, and I thank you. Thank you to our students who have persevered through extraordinary times, and to the Pittsford community who've given me the opportunity, the privilege to serve you and to serve our students. Our district is the best because you value public education you're willing to invest in the amazing experiences Pittsford schools continue to deliver. I remember a summer workshop. I'm going to so miss not being at the summer workshop. But years ago, we came together under Mike's leadership to craft our values, our mission, and our vision. During challenging times, we've leaned on these guideposts and guardrails to show us the way and remind us of our quest, and they have never failed us. That's because they are the product of our coming together as one district community, collaborating on what we believe to be true about our district and about each other. I will miss that collaboration, that creative problem solving that Mike spoke of, the welcoming of perspectives and experiences that are different from my own, and then learning the learning that comes with it. As I think about that, that may be what makes Pittsford schools unique and the best. The open sharing of opinions and beliefs, the trust in each other to listen and to be heard, and the hard work that is made easier because of the trust we share. We are so much better when we work together in that way. I will miss working with Mike Pirro. I said this a couple weeks ago at a lovely reception. I've probably cast thousands of votes in this position, but the one that stands out, the one that I'm most proud of, that has probably had the most, not even probably, has had the most significant impact on our district, is the vote I cast to hire Mike as our superintendent. He is an amazing leader, and he's always an educator. He loves kids, and he's able to connect with them no matter where of their age or where they are in their particular journey. He is a gift, and the Pittsford community has been the beneficiary. Deep breath. Most of all, I will miss the people around this board table. At first, we were just colleagues, co-workers, and you guys have become my dear friends and most trusted confidants. I've learned so much from the central office team and from each of you, and I will always treasure our time together. Finally, I'm going to miss the opportunity to serve. Moved into this community in the year 2000, and whether it was baseball or youth football and cheerleading or boosters or whatever, there was always a desire to serve and give back to the community that's been so great to us. But at the end of this month, I will step away, but I am absolutely confident in Dave and in Emily and the mentors that have come before us and in all of you. I'm absolutely confident in our board and our district's bright future. Thank you for listening.
So on to new business. Do you want to read mine? Okay. So last summer, we had a really impactful, powerful summer workshop, and Pete mentioned that we have every summer. And we meet for 2 days, and it asked the why in what we do. So each one of us seated at this board table has our own personal why in what we do. When I was elected to my first term, my why looked very different than it does today. It was to continue my journey in serving the school district in a very different capacity, to better understand board governance and to learn from the career experts that are seated right here at this table. And it also taught me what a successful public school looks like and how it operates. And I was excited to be a part of that. I was an eager learner to be a part of learning about solving governance issues. At that time, some of the major issues that were facing public schools were school safety, Common Core, funding, escalating costs of unfunded or underfunded mandates. Does it sound familiar? Some things in education never changes. I've always been a firm believer that as individuals, we learn and grow from lived experiences. These past 9 years have certainly offered the opportunity to learn by experiencing some rather arduous situations. I wouldn't trade my time serving on this board regardless of the circumstances. I've met and worked alongside some of the most skilled, committed, and unwavering professionals at every level of district operations, and I'm so proud to consider each one of you an extension of my family. Throughout my tenure, stakeholders have asked a handful of times, okay, maybe more than a handful of times, why would you ever want to be a board member? The simple answer is we deeply care about kids. We deeply care about setting them up for success in school and upon entering the real world. We get a thrill when we visit schools and we see hundreds of kiddos enter the building with smiles on their faces. We care about what's made this district stand out amongst districts nationwide. We stand behind our mission statement in all that we do. In every initiative, the Board of Education strives for continuous improvement and progress while working toward our vision statement. We have a genuine interest in promoting the good that exists within our school walls, the milestones achieved by our students, by our staff, by our administration. As board members, we're committed to a nonpartisanship view while making governing decisions at this board table. There have been times the board has been advised by constituents that you're watching us. I do hope that you have and will continue to do so, to witness, model citizenship, resilience, collaboration, and in the face of adversity. It's vital for our community to recognize that our kids and our future generation is watching us. We should all be invested in what our world will look like under the leadership of our own students. After 9 years, I can't leave without taking a little bit more time to publicly thank those who are a large part of my why. First and foremost, and I'm not going to look in the back row right now, my family. Add Mia, Gabby, and Bo. You've sacrificed a lot. You've allowed me to miss many of your school events, games, family meals, life milestones without debate and too much backlash. I've committed myself to something that I really feel deeply passionate about, and I hope that you take that with you in your lives and find what your passion is. Dave, it goes without saying that seeing you with that sandwich board every time that an election cycle came by was a highlight. But it goes without saying that I wouldn't be able to do this without you. And you have been my rock through a lot of challenging times. Thank you. Ted, Robin, Renee, Jeff, Sarah, and all of my board predecessors before me, Kim McCluskey, and Dave Burke, who's seated in front of me. You're to be applauded and celebrated for your tireless service, patience, and fortitude. There are a few thank yous that accompany board service. I thank you for serving the district in the most professional light by working together for a common goal, to serve our students. I cannot wait to work with each of you at the county level. That's just a hint, hint. Pete, 12 years of dedicated service, countless hours of volunteer work to improve the lives of our 5,600 plus students. Your keen eye for editing board insight articles, for supporting the board, and in particular me, as board president, is most impressive and has been greatly appreciated. You will forever be my running mate. Nancy, Elizabeth, Shayna, Sean, Jeff, Melanie, Darren, the table's strength lies at each individual seat here. I'm forever grateful to have witnessed and learned from each of you. Your steadfast leadership, prowess within your individual departments sets a standard beyond compare, beyond compare. Mike, You're an established, well-respected leader in our district, in Monroe County, and in New York State. And don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. You've been masterful in times of crisis, and you have been the backbone to the Pittsford Central School District. Your ability to collaboratively problem solve has been extraordinary, and I'm thankful to have been a part of the leadership team with you at the helm. So in wrapping all of this up with a tight little bow, I'm going to reflect on our mission statement. A community working collaboratively to inspire and prepare our students to be their best, do their best, and make a difference in the lives of others. If there are people in your life that have influenced you positively, make sure you thank them. The pandemic has taught us that life is short as a society, and especially in education. We thrive on human interaction. Be kind to one another. And I just want to repeat that. Be kind to one another. Everyone in this community is privileged to have our children in Pittsford schools. We've worked exceptionally hard to ensure our students receive a superior education in Pittsford. I'm beyond thankful to our teachers, administration, and our Board of Education for providing my children a first-class education in Pittsford and for fulfilling my why for the past 9 years. Thank you. So with that, we're going to move on to public comment. Do we have any cards, Deb, for public comment? You need to state your name and address, please. The microphone's right there.
Thank you. Kim McCluskey, 10 Grand Hill Way. You guys can all hear me. So I just want to take a minute to thank Pete and Amy. I worked on the board with Pete for 12 years and Amy with 9, and or 7, I guess, 7. And I loved every minute of it. When both of you came on the board, I hardly knew you, and over the time of, like you guys said, working collaboratively together and with everybody else that was at the table then, it is what sets Pittsford apart from other districts, and I really enjoy you all. You'll be friends of mine forever. And Pete, I'm gonna miss you editing things for me, which you still do sometimes. I may still have to slip you something once in a while, but I know I'll see you. And Amy, you and I have become great friends, and I'll be looking forward to working with you, from BOCES and your Monroe County School Boards, as well as having fun together. Maybe you'll even have a little more time now that you're not president of the Pittsburgh board. So thank you so much for your service. And Darren, also, I don't know if this is your last meeting or if it's in July, but thank you for everything. You have such a great knowledge of, better than anybody else in Monroe County, of finance, and it really shows. And you've done a great job here, and we'll miss you. Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Anyone else? Okay, with that, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Think about it.
Okay. Second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.